Hey yo, this is Zelp and welcome back to another interesting video on Warframe. Today we'll be looking at two questions about mag given to me by you guys. One asking about how the mechanics of mag's Polarize and Crush augment works in removing armor, and another about Magnetize and how it performs with sentience. It is very embarrassing to say, but I actually did not know that mag got reworked because it happened during the time that I took a break from Warframe. Since it changed many months ago, there is actually a lot of videos on how to use her effectively. And seeing how I do not like to make videos with repeating contents, so that it's interesting for you guys, I will not be talking about what weapon is best for mag and also how you should mod her. Instead, I will put links at the description on videos which I feel did a really good job. Now, there is actually another reason why I'm not covering the weapons, and it's because I'm actually a really small timer when it comes to being a YouTuber, and I do not have any support at the moment. So I kinda depleted my platinum from making the previous videos. So although I am crafting the Lanka and I also have the Park ready, and they were actually made because for testing purposes on the mag, but sadly I do not have any weapon slots left, and even if I do not have any leftover potatoes to mod them effectively to show you guys. So I'm sorry about that. I do hope that you guys understand my limitations at the moment, but let's just dive right in and see what I found. Before we start, we need to talk a wee bit about the important basics of the skills. Let's start with Polarize. It does damage on enemy shield or armor with the shield as the priority. This means that if an enemy has both shield and armor, it will do damage on the shield first. The armor or the shield remove will cause an explosion that deals magnetic damage to nearby enemies with a damage multiplier. This means that the enemy next to it is most likely to get more damage than the one that lost its armor or shield. The explosion damage will also decrease with range. Shards will drop out and can be used to do some amount of damage when magnetized, which to me is not very important because the damage is not very high. Here are some demonstrations, and do remember that it works on armored enemies as well. Okay, so let's not talk about shield and focus on the question. So the important thing here is that armor reduce is by a fixed value. To most people, it would seem like a bad thing because it doesn't scale well with the enemy, but it could also be a very good thing. For example, this is a table that shows the armor reduced from corrosive procs of a level 140 corrupted heavy gunner. The difference is the armor removed after each proc. You would realize that since corrosive remove armor in a percentage base, it does a lot at first and slowly decrease in effectiveness. It will take a total of 34 procs to fully remove its armor. You will also realize that from 750 armor, it takes about 24 procs just to strip it, whereas it could easily be removed with just one cast of Polarize. I mean, come on, it takes 10 procs just to get from 10 armor to below 1. So I guess this is where the power of a fixed armor reduction shines. The augment for Crush is called Factoring Crush that has the ability to remove 50% armor for 7 seconds. The percentage of armor reduced can be further increased by strength mods, and the duration can be increased by duration mods. The thing is, by right, just with a maxed out blind rage and intensify, you should have more than 100% armor reduction. But that doesn't seem to be the case. This means that there is a cap in percentage of armor reduced by this augment. And sadly, that is not given to us, not even in Wiki. So, with the help of some simple math, and after using Factoring Crush with supposedly 100% armor reduction, we then use Polarize to take down the damage done. This enemy is a level 50 corrupted heavy gunner, and it should have 2232.3 armor. Since the damage from Polarize after Crush is 445, which is the remaining armor, we could now calculate that the remaining armor is about 20% out of the total armor. And that means the armor reduction cap by Factoring Crush is 80%. Once again, math saved the day. The next important thing is to note that if you manage to remove the enemy's armor completely before the duration of Factoring Crush ends, the armor stays completely removed. Oh yes. But as the enemy level increases, the remaining 20% could be still very hard to remove. And here comes the next cool thing to note, is that Factoring Crush also stacks with itself, which means by casting it twice you would have removed 96% armor, and you should have no problem removing the remaining 4% with just Polarize. This includes a level 140 heavy gunner. But just a reminder, I am running this with a 185% power strength, and it will cost quite a bit of energy to pull off. Now let's talk about Magnetize. This is one of the heavily used skill by Mag. It seems it traps range attacks inside its globe, pulling other enemies to the center, and enemy takes 200% additional damage, which could be increased by strength mods. When the selected enemy dies, the globe will shrink and explode when it expires, and the damage is based on the field damage it absorbed. So what I believe, since I do not actually have the weapons to test this, is that ranged weapon with high punch through will stay active in the magnetized globe longer, which makes the Lanka really good. Beam attacks does damage in a straight line, not just in one point like most bullets, causing them to do higher field damage, which will contribute to the explosion damage at the end. Some people will use gas since it's also affected by the damage multiplier. So back to the question on how does it perform on Sentience. The main reason I feel that Magnetize is good versus Sentience is that it could temporarily disable them, and because of the damage multiplier, well, in my case 185% power strength will give me about 3.7 times the usual damage. And you are right about them not able to adapt fast enough since the damage is done in such a short time frame. For a normal level 30 Sentient with a good weapon like the Tigris Prime, you can one-shot it with the help of Magnetize. For level 50, you might want to use Polarize first after Magnetize to remove some of its armor. And for the level 80 Sentient, you should also include Crush to remove more armor to do more damage. By the way guys, if the Sentient does adapt to your damage, you could also remove those adaptations by hitting it with your operator. I hope I did a good job answering your questions. By the way, in case you haven't noticed, I could summon level 140 enemies for testing now, because I finally reached rank 22. I'll be making a short gameplay on the rank 22 test for my rank test playlist, just for the sake of completing it. Please show your support by leaving a like if you like this video. And if you are not already part of this chillax community, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any interesting topics you'd like me to make a video of, feel free to leave it at the comments or message me at Twitter. I love the engagement I get from you guys, and in a way my videos are more about you than just Warframe. Oh, one more thing. I know my videos can be long sometimes, which is why I took extra effort in making this more compact, but it does take up a lot more time to complete. So do expect some casual videos from time to time, and the reason why I make it so detailed instead of just blah out my findings is because in case I mess up, I need you guys to analyze where I've gone wrong, and it'll be easier for you if you know what I've done. So let me know at the comments below if this video made you rethink your Mac builds, and if yes, how would you build it now? You also could leave comments for others, things that you feel might help the newer players if they were to play Mag. Once again, this is Zelp wishing you a pleasant day, Tenno. Bye bye.